Hi, everyone. Welcome to A New View. I'm Lee, and I'm here with Shira, Kim, and Juji. We are four friends, speakers, and professionals from different cultures, backgrounds, and age groups coming together to offer healing and inspiration. Today's topic is about the ripple effect that we create with our actions and words with those around us. Ladies, who would like to start us off?
I'll get the ripples going.
Please do.
Yeah, I always find this very interesting because when you really stop and think about it, like there's such truth to it that both good and bad, right? Like the things that we say and do can ripple into, like paying it forward and you're impacting other people in a positive way with what you're saying and what you're doing. And then by the same token, you can like wake up in the morning and like stub your toe and rip your stockings and burn the toast and just everything just sort of like goes to hell in a handbasket. So it's like, do we have the ability to sort of stop when those things are happening? And I'm talking specifically about like the negative ripple and just go, okay, wait, hold on a minute. Like this is just going to keep going, or like I need to stop the train right now and just reorient myself and just like think different thoughts. And a lot of us don't do that because we're just like victims. We're just like, oh, great. Now it's traffic and now my boss is being a dick. And then like just all of these things that tend to pile up on us. And we condition ourselves to almost like expect shitty things to happen when we have full power to stop it in its tracks and just reorient, reframe, restart. Like there's nothing wrong with do-overs in life. And again, I'm specifically talking about the negative ripple effect because the positive ripple effect is so beautiful and ripples that we want more of in our lives. But when we go down the negative train is what I'm talking about. And we do have the power to turn it around.
Well, I would say that like when we're talking about something negative happening, the ripple is about like how you approach it with other people. Like you could stub your toe and rip your stocking and burn your toast and then go to work and be shitty to everybody there, and then they go home and they're shitty to the people in their lives. But you can also have the awareness of like, okay, like tomorrow is another day, today is not going great, and you can be very honest about where you're at with what you're going through. I brought this up earlier, like I was watching an interview with Machine Gun Kelly, who's like a rock star, and he was being interviewed by Drew Barrymore. And he came on her show and was like, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I'm just not feeling this today. Which is like not something that you would expect in like this kind of professional setting, but he was being very like open and vulnerable. And I thought it was very refreshing to see somebody just leveling with the person that's trying to be professional. Honestly, like it was her job to interview him. It's his job to show up and promote whatever he's promoting. And she was like, thank you so much for being honest with me, because I could have taken it personally that you weren't really into it, that you weren't really like being present. And then I would have been like, oh, he doesn't care about this. He doesn't take this seriously, this, that, and the other thing. And just helping me understand where you're at, it like lifts something. It lifts some of the heaviness from the conversation. And then you can just be two human beings being human together, not with this pressure of like, this is what we have to do and we have to push through it and be uncomfortable and like, and then the whole world will see it too, right? Like everybody can see when something isn't flowing naturally. And I just think that we could all be a little bit more forthcoming about like our state at any given time, because everybody understands that, like nobody's going to be like, well, too freaking bad, like I think that we all can have more empathy when we understand where the other person is coming from. And it's so simple, but I don't know where along the way we just picked up this idea that professionalism means being like 110% with a smile on your face
On,
at
be
all
on
times.
all the time.
On. You have to
Yeah.
be on all the time.
Mhm. Juji, those are such wise words. First, I want to say that I'm so impressed that you remembered all of the things that Shira mentioned about having a shitty start to your day.
That was
And
impressive.
toast and the job. Like, how did you
I was
remember?
like, you know why? Because I was like, first of all, my friend did stub her toe on one of the days when I was staying with her, and she ended up breaking her toe, and we didn't know it. But she like went about her day totally sweet and kind. So I was like, oh yeah, that's. But then I was like, who still wears stockings and who still makes toast in the morning?
Right? That's Shira for you. No,
I never wear
so,
stockings.
I wanted to
Never
acknowledge
was
that.
working girl in the 80s, like with the shoulder pads, like.
Yeah. So I wanted to acknowledge that first, and also to say, yes, wouldn't it be great if we are having a bad day, and we're in a bad mood, like if we could kind of stop and say something to the people we're faced with for the day, whether it's at work or at home or whatever, and just kind of let them know, I'm in a bad way right now, or I'm not, whatever, don't mind me, so they don't take it personally. That would be really such the best way, obviously, to express ourselves. Although I also, on the other side of this ripple effect, obviously, is being kind and compassionate, and just kind of making somebody's day for no reason other than just to make their day, because it can make a huge difference in how they feel and how they progress with their day. Which brings a lot of satisfaction, I think, is when you do for others in an authentic way. Right. So even if it means, and we've all heard of, like, people paying the toll for the car behind us, or buying a coffee for the car behind us on the Starbucks, whatever drive through. No one that has ever done that for me, by the way.
I'll do it next time we're together.
It happened with the toll, but not with the coffee, which is okay. But, just little things that people, I think, don't expect, especially when people don't expect a gesture of kindness. It goes such a long way. Kind of makes people feel like, okay, there, people are good. There are really good people out there. And that collectively, and if we all had a little bit more kindness to us, I mean, really, I do think, it would contribute to this whole world being a better place, the one we all want it to be.
Well,
Yeah.
it goes back to that word conscious, like just being more conscious of the energy you're putting out. Being conscious, like that does so much. That being conscious of your energy around others could improve. I've seen it improve my own relationships. It improves my friendships with you guys all the time. I know people who used to be very reactive, but because they're more conscious, they're less reactive today. Like, I can see all the subtle changes that it could literally change your life. Just being more consciously of other people, and like being kind, all that. Juji, to your point earlier, I was thinking that this morning about the workplace, because I spent until COVID, actually, I spent, working in an office my whole career, and only now I work from home. And it is very different, but like, why professionalism, the people's emotions were never allowed in the workplace. At least that's in my offices where I worked. If you had needed a good cry, which I have had many in my office, I would go into the conference room, I'd pull my closest friend, my closest colleague, and I would have a good cry with her in the conference room. Or I would go take a walk. I've done that too, where I just needed to like let it loose and just release and go for a walk. But I would never in my right mind show my bosses and coworkers that I was bringing emotions into the workplace. Like, that was just, you could do it, but I think, and I don't know if this is more of a story in my head but I got the feeling that that would not be looked at respectively. Like, I do believe that people would look bad. It would look bad, basically.
They would judge you.
Yeah, exactly. And who wants to be judged? But I do believe that times are changing. I do believe that people are changing with the new generations coming in and the older generations leaving. I'm seeing a difference. I have friends who have very different work environments, very supportive bosses. I even have had recently a boss who was a friend as well. And I could say anything to her about how I was feeling about the job, So I that's all I want to do now is work for people like that. I want to work for compassionate people who are empathetic, and they want me to be my authentic self. And Juji, to what you were saying about that interview, like they encourage me to, if I'm having a crappy day, not spend all my energy pretending that I'm happy or on or whatever when I'm not feeling well. I want that boss to be the first person who says, you know what, Kim, do you need to just take the day? Go take the day, like just go rest, go be with your family, whatever. Or, that's okay. Like, listen, we can move our meeting if you're not up for it. Like, I just want more compassionate, more supportive bosses. And that's like kind of my new thing now, where if I'm going to work for you, you have to care that I have a family. You have to care that I'm having a rough day, that I'm feeling emotional. I'm not saying like, I understand work and family life, and I understand it's two different things, but we're all human. Even like the boss has bad days. Even the boss is going through divorce. Even the boss is going through emotional shit. So what if we all we're more compassionate, we're more understanding, we're more caring and kind to like how we were feeling, because productivity is all like, it all depends on how you're feeling, doesn't it?
Totally. Yeah, I think a lot of corporate cultures are changing in many regards, but also in that mental, emotional well-being part. Because I think companies understand that you spend many, many hours doing your job, right? And then you want to have time for yourself. You want to have time for your family, but it's not like you change your personality or like an issue goes away the minute you step your foot in the office. Like just life just doesn't work that way. So I think smart companies will be thinking about their own ripple effect of how, when we treat our employees with respect, when we allow them to be human and go through their issues and give them the time and space that they need, A, they'll be more productive, and B, you'll have less turnover, because companies that are like demanding and it doesn't matter, you get 2 days for bereavement and then you have to be back, whatever, like there has to be, and then you don't want people to take advantage. Obviously there's going to be exceptions to that rule, but I think corporate culture is definitely taking notice of those kinds of things. I also wanted to give a little shout out to my sister, because somebody said before just prompted just the whole pay it forward thing. So my sister has this knack for, if you're with her and you like, I don't know, you're like, oh my God, that's such a cute bag. Oh, I love it. Whatever. Next thing you know, she's sending you the bag. She's like, I want you to have the bag. And she's done that with like boots and, a book, or just somebody mentioned something. So one day I jokingly said to her, I'm like, that house is really, really nice. The house down the block, I really like that house. But I just had to
still
shout out
waiting.
to my sister.
I was gonna be like, we need to hang out with your sister more.
Yeah.
I have several items of things in my life that she noticed I said something and she decided to pay it forward. And I love her for that, and for so many other reasons, but for that too.
I love that, Shira. And I just want to say one more quick thing to what I was talking about before was, I think I'm really just at this point in my life where I want to be more authentically me. And so that's like, I think this transition I'm going through right now is like, I don't want to pretend anymore. It's so exhausting, and like, I want people to like me and want to hire me again, or want to be my friend, or want to love me and all the things. But I just don't want to pretend I'm like happy if I'm not that day, for your sake.
What if being authentic is the thing that's contagious? What if like allowing yourself to be yourself is what people take away, and they're like, oh, well, if Kim has permission to be herself, like maybe I have permission to be myself, like that's that's actually real. Like, I think that's the most powerful thing, Kim, is that, you know, when you stand up for yourself, when you like take a stand, as Landmark likes to say, and do what's best for you, like, our initial perception is that it's going to like negatively impact our relationships, where I think that that actually has the potential to make them stronger. Because when you have those boundaries, and when you have those like when you save your energy for when you're like happy and feeling good and all of that stuff, then you can just show up in a more powerful way, and a more you way. It's not about like shutting down parts of yourself. And I think that the thing that we started with is like, it's the shutting down of yourself that negatively ripples out, because that's when things kind of like come out in unhealthy ways. Like, I stubbed my toe, I ripped my stocking, I burnt my toast, and now the clerk at the grocery store is gonna hear about it. You know, like, because I can't just go to work and let it be known that I'm in not a great mood. It like spews out in this like weird, like, it's misfiring in a way. So,
Yeah.
and then the clerk is like, oh, people are such jerks. And then they, you know, it comes out, you know, that's the ripple effect that we were talking about initially. But like, that's what's really powerful about it, is like, if you're good, like for me, if I'm having a shitty day, I'm usually extra nice to the clerk at the grocery store, you know, because there's just something about that makes it better. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I literally can't, like, it would make me feel worse to not be nice if I was taking my mood out on someone, where I know not everybody feels that way. But Juji, to your point, I think that's exactly, I think if people are more encouraged to be authentically them and open and honest about it, then I think we'd have more people, oh, let me get the person's coffee behind me, or let me give this clerk a compliment today. Like, I think we'd be more conscious if we were just acting out of our authentic selves, right?
Yeah. And it also, this reminds me also of one of the episodes that we did on vulnerability, because, you know, to your point, Kim, and being your own authentic self kind of around people, kind of gives them permission to do the same. You know, same way that there is so much power in being vulnerable around somebody who maybe never thought to do that or to open up. And when we show, and when we are that example, I think that has a ripple effect.
Being vulnerable has its own ripple effect, right? Yeah.
Being vulnerable, being forgiving, being accepting, being loving in the eyes of like a bad circumstance, you know, it kind of maybe in some situations may make somebody think twice, or, you know, let me do that, because that seems to work.
Yeah, I love that every emotion has its own ripple. That's amazing. I love that.
You know, I want to take back what I said about the burning the toast and the stubbing the toe and the ripping the sock, because those are just such inconsequential, stupid things. But like, we're carrying around some pretty heavy shit, you know, like someone's ill, or your marriage is falling apart, or you just got laid off, or all three of those things. Like, there's a lot of heaviness that we walk around with. And I think that part of this ripple effect also needs to be stopping yourself and going, okay, this really, really sucks, but I'm not going to take it out on the next person, right? Because we're talking about like service people in Starbucks and pay it forward, pay for the coffee behind you. But like the people that we live with every day, if we catch ourselves taking it out on that person, we can also stop and go, you know what? Because this happened to me, where I'm just like, ugh, I'm feeling so heavy and shitty inside. And I see it, I'm taking it out on you. Like, it's not fair to you. So sometimes you can just walk away. You could just go, I need 5, I need 10. I need a half an hour, like whatever it is, and just get yourself together, you know, because like I said in the beginning, like you can turn it around, but not if you're just like spewing garbage in every possible direction. Like,
Yeah, exactly. And I think that sometimes that shift can happen with a lot of thought and awareness about it. And sometimes we can shift on a dime. If it's the pantyhose and the toast, you know, these are different circumstances where you can
You're
just
never
kind
gonna
of
live
mind
this one down, Shira.
toast and pantyhose. That's a great place to end, right? So,
also listen to music. Music can also, I know we just did an episode, music can also turn your vibe around, and pick a song that will give you some perspective, and then go back into the world.
yeah. So, ladies, this is where we're going to wrap it up. If you have enjoyed our conversation, please subscribe to our channel and be sure to let us know if you have any topic requests or questions by commenting below. We'll see you soon, and thank you for watching.